This is the 8849 Tank 3 disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. And if you need any tools, there are links in the description. Alright, to start off, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Here's a better look at the SIM tray. Now there are 12 T5 or Torx 5 screws which need to be removed. Here's a look at the strong rubberized plastic backplate. The glass camera lens cover is held down with some adhesive, so to replace that you just have to apply some heat and pry it off. You won't need to take apart the phone to replace that. Here's a look at the other side. We can see a red rubber gasket around the frame. There are now 9 Phillips screws that have to be removed. On this top plastic cover, we can see numerous antenna lines which are these light gray color lines, the dual LED flash, the night vision lights, as well as the dual back microphones. Here's a look at the other side. The battery cables can now be disconnected, followed by the rest of the cables. Here's a better look at the strong camping lights, as well as the emergency LED lights. There are now 11 more Phillips screws that have to be removed. The two coaxial cables can be disconnected by just popping them off. Looking at the main board, we can see the 200 megapixel primary camera, the 50 megapixel ultra wide, 8 megapixel telephoto, and 64 megapixel night vision camera. None of the cameras have OIS or optical image stabilization. The camera cables can be disconnected by just popping them off. Here's a better look at the camera assembly. There's graphite film over the shields to help transfer heat. Looking at the other side, we can see some copper tape, as well as thermal pads on top of these chips. Once the thermal pad has been removed, we can see the RAM which is seated on top of the processor. Here's a look at the speaker assembly, and there are more antenna lines drawn on this plastic cover of the speaker assembly, which are the light gray color lines. There are 16 additional Phillips screws that have to be removed. And these flex cables connect the main board to the subboard. Here's a look at the midframe assembly. We can see the 23,800 mAh battery, which is basically 4 5,950 mAh batteries put together to operate as one. There are also 2 copper heat pipes which run through the midframe, which help to transfer heat, as well as the other thermal pads. So from the looks of it, there's 2 batteries, the copper heat pipes and midframe, and 2 additional batteries on the other side of the midframe, which are all soldered together with one controller board, and this flex cable over here. So this midframe and copper heat pipe run between the 4 batteries. The infrared or IR blaster is located over here, and the laser rangefinder assembly are located over here. The flex cable for the screen is routed through an opening in the frame over here. So if you needed to replace the screen at this point, you'd heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath, pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive, reapply the new screen, making sure you run the flex cable back to the opening in the frame, and reassemble the phone. There are 5 more Phillips screws which need to be removed. Here's a look at the SIM and memory card reader board. And here's a look at the 50 megapixel front-facing camera. The proximity sensor is located here, which is held down with some adhesive. The top earpiece speaker is located here, which is held in place with a cure-in-place gasket in addition to this metal plate. And the vibrator motor is located here, which is also held down with some adhesive. The flex cables for the buttons on the side and the fingerprint reader are all held in place with a cure-in-place gasket, in addition to the T4 screws and plates on either side. So if you wanted to replace those, you'd have to remove the T4 screws or Torx 4 screws, as well as the metal plates, and then you'd have to use an X-Acto knife or a sharp razor blade to cut out the cure-in-place gaskets in order to be able to pull out the cables. And here's a look at the subboard. The headphone jack is connected with a flex cable, and there's a rubber gasket around the charger port and headphone jack. Here's a look at the other side. The primary microphone is located on the bottom corner, and that's also held in place with a cure-in-place gasket. And the cure-in-place gasket is basically like a rubber seal. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 3.5 out of 10. Now it's time to reassemble the phone. Once everything's back in place, flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.